all natives of their respective countries. So they keep that authenticity going.
There you go. That's really cool. I did not know that. That is really, really cool. I haven't been to Disney. I hate to say this as a big Disney geek since 2005. Unfortunately, I'm trying to get back out there. It's just bad. The money. It's just money, and I don't have a chance to get out there because of the money.
Well, you might know somebody who's got some hookups. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Well,
By
there
the
you
way,
go.
that offer, listeners, I apologize. That offer is only good if you're a friend of mine. So, if any of you would like to friend me on Facebook and be part of the creative community, go ahead and maybe I'll help you out too. But that's actually the worst thing that happens for theme park employees. And I'll tell you a quick story so you understand. This happens to all of us. So, okay, let me preface this by saying, if we're not friends on Facebook, that doesn't necessarily mean we're not friends, etc. But
Right.
the main reason I use Facebook is to stay in touch with people who I wouldn't normally have stayed in touch with without the advent of social media.
Completely how
So
it
one of
should
the
be.
first exactly. So one of the first jobs I ever had was I was a camp counselor. And, this is that was when I was like 14, 15 years old. That was, like my summer job. And I hadn't seen any of these people in literally, almost 10 years, and they started a Facebook group for the camp so we could all reunite and talk about stories and everything. And it was really cool. And I reconnected with a bunch of people, and I friended a bunch of people. And there was this really cool girl. I really liked her. She worked in the office. Her name was Christine. And we were friends on Facebook for a while. And then one day I noticed we weren't friends anymore. And I'm just like, okay, well, I guess she defriended me. All right, whatever. I guess she doesn't. Whatever. It is what it is. I didn't lose sleep over it. 4 years go by because I actually checked the timestamp on our last Facebook conversation. 4 years go by. That's key here. I get a message from her out of the blue. And by the way, this is when I've already moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'm not even in Florida anymore. She got a message from her. She's like, "Hey, I know it's been a while, but I'm going down to Disney, and I was wondering if you could hook me up with any discounts or freebies or whatever and everything." And I read the message, and I started just laughing.
That's
like I'm
funny.
sitting at my computer, and I just started audibly cracking up. And I'm like, I don't put stake into the value of the quote-unquote Facebook friend. But when you defriended me, that clearly meant you weren't interested in my friendship anymore. But now that you suddenly want to go to Disney, now suddenly you want to be my friend anymore. No, that's not how this works.
I know what
a
you're
long-term friend of mine. Oh yeah, a long-term friend of mine, somebody I'd known since I was a kid, neighborhood friend. We were in Boy Scouts together. We both made Eagle Scout together. He had messaged me, and we reconnected for a little bit, and it led to the fact that he was actually traveling to Disney and everything, and there wasn't really anything I could do for him. So he deleted me on Facebook.
saying. Oh my
So
God.
he ended our long-term friendship because I couldn't help him with his Disney effing vacation. And that is a true story that we all, cast members and former cast members, deal with. All of a sudden, people would come out of the woodwork and want discounts and freebies, and they wanted a helping hand. And I always said no. Unless you are actively maintaining a friendship with me, no, I'm not going to just do that. Because admittedly, I can contact people and get hookups when I go down there. I could do that for people, but I'm not doing that for somebody who would they do this for me? That's basically what it boils down to. Would you honestly do that for me? Like, we haven't talked in years, and if I just message you out of the blue and you work at let's say Comcast, and I was just like, hey, can you get me an employee hookup on my cable? Would you do that for me? No, you wouldn't. So don't come to me and expect me to just give handouts here. And for me personally, let's say because I went down in October, and all I did was I said, hey guys, I'm going down in October. Is anybody out there willing to give me a hand? That was the way I phrased it. Are you willing to do that? Because if you're not, I don't take offense to it.
Right.
And also I was planning on paying my own way anyway. And shout out Jeremy Jens, you're the man. You're my homie, boy. He hooked me up with one of his comp tickets into Universal. So I got to go to Universal for free. Thanks to Jeremy. Jeremy, you are the GOAT. Shout out to Jeremy. And I appreciate the people who had offered to help me out with stuff that I didn't necessarily need. Like, I didn't actually go into any of the Disney parks, but I had 2 people message me, and they're like, hey, if you want to go, just let me know. I've got some extra tickets. And I didn't need them. But you know what? Shout outs. Katie, thank you very much. Katie still works at now they call it Disney Springs, the former Downtown Disney. Yes. So, Katie, I appreciate your offer. And Mark, I appreciate your offer, and I hope you're doing okay over there in Avatar Land. And I hope the hype has died down for you since Toy Story opened. So,
hey, you know what? Everything's going to change next year when Galaxy's Edge opens. So, all hell's gonna break loose down there.
I'm already booking my ticket. And love me some Star Wars, and I've seen the satellite pictures. The Millennium Falcon's already complete. Fanboy squee.
Yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but it's one of those things where I'm like, oh my god, my son would freak. My son's got high functioning autism, so it's like, oh my god, this is gonna freak him the fuck out. These crowds. Oh my god. Oh man, it's a reason.
Yeah.
I haven't brought him to the convention yet. There's a reason why I didn't do that yet.
Hey, Disney takes care of kids with autism. You just got to go talk to them.
I've heard that.
They'll help you out big time. Because we're very sensitive to. I mean, you got to remember, Disney is the ultimate melting pot of the world.
Oh yeah.
When I was working there, just actually in Orlando in general, I met people from every state. All 50 states, every Canadian province, and hundreds of countries. I couldn't even tell you how many different countries I met. In fact, when I was working at Interventions at Epcot, one of the things I would do before we'd go in for a show is I would kind of just chat with the people in line while we were waiting for the video to start, and I would just ask them. I would always say, all right, I want to see who came the furthest to see me today. So I'd ask people where they were from, and there were people from Kuwait and Qatar, China, Russia, almost every European nation you could imagine. I mean, I met people from Bulgaria and Croatia and freaking Micronesia. I met someone from Micronesia. Like,
I forgot that was a country.
It's crazy where you meet people from, and I always loved having my my hometown on my name tag. Shout out to Vernon, New Jersey. Shout out. And it was cool because how many conversations that would spark for people who are from the area. They would come in, they'd be like, oh, you're from Vernon. Where are you from? I'm from Sparta. I'm like, oh, crap, I know where that is. We play you guys in football. And
that's funny.
A lot of South Jersey people I would talk to. So every time I would talk to them, like, oh, I'm from South Jersey. I'm like, let me guess.
Sorry.
You like the Eagles. Yeah. And then they'd be like, well, let me guess. You like a New York team. I'm like, you're damn right I do.
Oh man, it's like when I worked at Potawatomi. I worked at Potawatomi Casino here in Milwaukee for a couple of years, and for some reason I never understood this at Potto. They'd put your home city on your badge, and I never understood that at Potto, but whatever. And it said Garfield, New Jersey. No one knows where Garfield is.
I do.
You know where it is, but if you're out here, no one has a clue where Garfield is. So then when someone asks me,
funny.
And I say, well, what cities do you know? And they say Patterson. And I'm like, right there. I'm right there. I'm like, and then I go and say, do you know Miles Austin? He played for Dallas, and Green Bay played the Cowboys. They're like, yeah. I was in school with him. Like,
right.
I know him personally. I was friends with him for a long time. Like,
that's funny. Yeah. My favorite is well, I went to school at Montclair.
Oh, geez,
so
okay.
People always ask, they're like, oh, Montclair, where is that? I'm like, you can literally see the skyline from my campus.
Right.
To give you a hint of how close we are to New York City, you can see the skyline. Now, when we were in Europe, whenever we would run into, whenever people would ask us where we were from in America, we always just told them the New York City area because
Easier.
A lot of people don't know New Jersey. It was just easier that way. Unless we met somebody from America, like we ran into these kids from Nebraska while we were at the Eiffel Tower. That was kind of funny.
Okay, cool.
You know, you ran into people from North Carolina while we saw the Statue of David in Italy. So like, you know, it's cool to run into Americans when you're overseas. But yeah, for the most part, it would be like, oh, America, where you from? You know, New Jersey. They just stare at you blankly. From New York City. Oh, yeah, 'cause everybody knows New York City.
Exactly. That's true.
It's not an insult or anything, you know. It's just one of those things. Like,
actually,
yeah.
New Jersey is now more popular because of Hamilton, the musical, because of all the jokes about New Jersey in the show. So now everyone knows New Jersey because of Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Well, it's funny because you understand this because you're from New Jersey. Jokes about New Jersey are freaking hysterical, but don't you dare make them if you're not from New Jersey.
Exactly. They made a
That's
joke.
That pride
I think
thing.
During our first couple of years doing the show, I was watching Big Bang Theory of all shows, and they made a Jersey joke. Jersey joke on Big Bang Theory.
They've made several because Leonard is from New Jersey.
Exactly, and he can get away with it. And I laugh because whatever they say is home city, I crack up. I know where it is. I'm like, I know where that is. Very cool.
My favorite New Jersey joke they ever made was when Leonard lies about coming back early from his boating trip, and Sheldon's like, you know, I'm starting to wonder if everything you've ever told me is a lie. You say you're from New Jersey, but how do I know it's true? And Leonard goes, why would someone pretend to be from New Jersey if they weren't? Sheldon's like, yeah, all right, you got me on that one.
It's so
That
true.
is my favorite New Jersey joke on Big Bang Theory.
It's hysterical. It's so true, though. It's funny because it's accurate.
I mean, why? Nobody's going to pretend. So at my job, because living in Lancaster, Pennsylvania is not nearly as much of a melting pot as Orlando, obviously. Even though Amish country is a pretty big tourist area. But I do have a coworker who's from Long Island. So the Bruce Springsteen versus Billy Joel argument happens every day at my job. Every day.
Well, they must be ecstatic. There's going to be certain people ecstatic and about, I don't know if it's already out by the time people hear this, but Springsteen, the Broadway show, will be on Netflix.
Oh,
soon.
I can't wait.
I
don't know if it might be out by the time you guys are listening to this, but
I think it comes out like
it's not out as I'm
December,
sitting here recording.
I know it's out soon. I'm just not sure the date off the top of my head.
I'll be watching.
I don't know how to feel about that because I did not like his performance at the Tony Awards. I didn't like it. Then again, he was praising Freehold, New Jersey, and people are on Twitter like, where the fuck is Freehold, New Jersey?
Hey, I know. Your hand raised. I know. I know.
Well, I went to work. I'll
talk
boss. About this.
He's the boss.
Well, I'll talk about this more next week on our year-end show. But, one of my big things this year is I came back out to Jersey in May to be inducted into my high school athletic hall of fame. And you know how hard it is to explain to your boss that you need a weekend off from work to go back to your hometown he's never heard of to get inducted into a hall of fame for a football team in the 90s?
That's awesome.
You know how hard that is to explain? I'm like, yeah, my hometown, sports are a big deal. We have a Hall of Fame. My football team is the last team to win a championship in this town for football. We're being inducted as a team. And my mom is paying for my flight. She wants me to come out to the ceremony. And I'm supposed to work, but I need off. It was easier to explain I have passes to a Comic-Con than explain I'm going back to my hometown for a Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah, I can't imagine asking off like that for my boss.
Yeah.
I don't think he would necessarily go for that.
Yeah, and luckily I have a really cool boss that understands, but it took a while to explain that one. So, all right, I'm looking at the clock. We should start wrapping up on my sheet.
What's funny is nobody really knows where Vernon is until you mention the ski resort.
Yes.
Then everybody knows where Vernon is.
See, I had a friend that lived in Vernon, so